Hey guys, this is Doug, Fellowship of the Martyrs, coming at you today. It's February the 7th, but I want to backtrack a few days. I was in Los Angeles all last weekend, got invited out there, all expenses paid, to do some ministry for some folks. Had a really good weekend, lots of divine appointments, really beautiful connectivity with different parts of the body. Anyway, so I'm back in Liberty trying to get caught up on everything, and I want to tell you about 4 Chaplains Day. Some of you may know what that is, some of you may not, but it's actually a annually observed, congressionally appointed holiday on February 3rd that I didn't know anything about. But I got this article copied to me. I posted it on my Facebook page. The link to it, I think I did. But I want to just read it to you. And maybe it'll challenge you a little bit. This is an article titled February 3rd, 4 Chaplains Day. It's written by Reese Lloyd, who's an attorney, and it was on newswithviews.com. You can find him there. And it's copyrighted, but I think I'm inside of fair use to share this with you. So I'm just going to read pieces of this to you. 4 Chaplains Day is to be observed annually on February 3rd in America by the unanimous resolution of the U.S. Congress in 1988. It is a day to remember February 3rd, 1943, when one of the most remarkable and inspiring acts of heroism in the history of warfare took place in World War II. It is a day to honor the heroism of the 4 chaplains who selflessly gave their lives that others may live. However, although veterans in the American Legion, the Veterans of Foreign War, and other veterans organizations will hold special observances on 4 Chaplains Day, most American media, most American schools, and therefore most Americans will not observe it. Indeed, most Americans, including children, will not be taught about it in their schools, will not even know that there is a National 4 Chaplains Day or why. This is true even though, as a former soldier who owed his life to them has said, their heroism is beyond belief. That is one of the reasons why we must tell the world what these people did. On February 3rd, 1943, the Dorchester, a converted luxury cruise ship, was transporting Army troops to Greenland, escorted by 3 Coast Guard cutters and accompanied by 2 slow-moving freighters. On board were some 900 troops and 4 chaplains, of diverse religions and backgrounds, but of a common faith and commitment to serve God, country, and all the troops, regardless of their religious beliefs or non-belief. The 4 chaplains are Reverend George Fox, Methodist, Father John Washington, Roman Catholic, Jewish Rabbi Alexander Good, and Reverend Clark Poling, Dutch Reformed. At approximately 12:55 a.m. in the dead of a freezing night in February, the Dorchester was hit by a torpedo fired by German U-boat 233 in an area so infested with German submarines it was known as Torpedo Junction. The blast ripped a hole in the ship from below the waterline to the top deck. The engine room was instantly flooded. Crewmen who were not scalded to death by steam escaping from broken pipes in the ship's boiler were drowned. Hundreds of troops in the flooded lower compartments were drowned, or washed out to the frigid waters where most would die. In less than a minute, the Dorchester lost way and listed at a 30-degree angle. Troops on deck searched for life jackets in panic, clung to rails and other handholds, saw overloaded lifeboats overturn in the turgid water. It was moving fast and it was freezing. Leaped overboard as a last desperate hope for life. Many with life jackets drowned when the life preservers became waterlogged. Of the 900 troops and crew on board, 2/3 would ultimately die. Most of those who survived had lifelong infirmities and pain from their time in the icy waters. Dorchester survivors told of the wild pandemonium on board when it was hit and began sinking. Many men had not slept in their clothes and life vests as ordered because of the heat in the crowded quarters below. There was panic, fear, terror. Death was no abstraction, but real, immediate, and seemingly inescapable. The four chaplains acted together to try to bring some order to the chaos, to calm the panic of the troops, to alleviate their fear and terror, to pray with and for them, to help save their lives. The chaplains passed out life jackets, helping those who panicked to put them on correctly, until the awful moment arrived when there were no more life jackets to be given out. It was then that a most remarkable act of heroism, courage, faith, and love took place. Each of the four chaplains took off his life jacket, knowing that act made death certain, put his life jacket on a soldier who didn't have one, refused to listen to any protest that they should not make such a sacrifice. They continued to help the troops until the last moment. Then, as the ship sank into the raging sea, the four chaplains linked hands and arms and could be seen and heard by the survivors, praying together, even singing hymns, joined together in faith, love, and unity as they sacrificed their lives so that others may live. The few survivors testified to the selfless act of the four chaplains. Quote, "The ship started sinking, and as I left the ship, I looked back and saw the chaplains with their hands clasped, praying for the boys. They never made any attempt to save themselves, but they did try to save the others. I think their names should be on the list of the greatest heroes of this war," testified Grady L. Clark. Quote, "I saw all four chaplains take off their life belts and give them to soldiers who had none. The last I saw of them, they were still praying, talking, and preaching to the soldiers," attested survivor Thomas W. Myers, Jr. Quote, "It is impressed clearly in my mind that these chaplains demonstrated unsurpassed courage and heroism when they willingly gave their life belts to four enlisted men who, because of the utter confusion and disorder brought about by the torpedoing, had become hysterical. They helped save the lives of many of the troops," testified John F. Gary. These testimonies, taken from author Dan Kurzman's valuable book, No Greater Glory, The Four Immortal Chaplains and the Sinking of the Dorchester in World War II, are but some of the sworn statements of grateful survivors upon which Congress awarded the four chaplains an unprecedented Congressional Medal of Valor in 1961. Earlier in 1944, they were awarded Purple Hearts and the Distinguished Service Cross. They did not receive the Medal of Honor because of restrictions limiting that medal to combatants. In 2004, delegates to the American Legion National Convention, representing 2.7 million wartime veterans, voted to support making an exception and awarding the Medal of Honor to the four chaplains. At the dedication of the Chapel of the Four Chaplains in 1951, then President Harry S. Truman said, "Their sacrifice reflected the fact that the unity of our country is a unity under God. This interfaith shrine will stand through long generations to teach Americans that as men can die heroically as brothers, so should they live together in mutual faith and goodwill," President Truman said. Ben Epstein, a Jewish survivor who often spoke to audiences about the four chaplains, was quoted by author Kurzman as describing the meaning of their sacrifice by putting a question to himself and thereby to all other Americans. Quote, "I ask myself, could I do it? Take my life preserver and give it to someone else? Absolutely not. I don't think I could do it. I didn't do it. And I ask you in the audience, how many of you could do it? And I don't want an answer. That's why I say their bravery, their heroism is beyond belief. That is one of the reasons why we must tell the world what these people did." The lesson of their lives is as inspiring as is the lesson of their ultimate sacrifice. Information is available from a number of sources, principally by the Four Chaplains Memorial Foundation, headquartered in Philadelphia, www.fourchaplains.org. On the West Coast, the Immortal Chaplains Foundation maintains the Queen Mary Memorial Chapel and Sanctuary in Long Beach. at immortalchaplains.org. The American Legion has been conducting annual Four Chaplains remembrances for almost half a century, publishes material, and produced a video, The American Legion Remembers the Four Chaplains. This is available on their website. And to read more from Reese Lloyd, you can visit newswithviews.com and link to his articles there. The lead goose in a formation ought to be the one that knows where they're going and drags everybody else along and is doing the most work. It's reasonable, in my mind, that the chaplains should be the most Christ-like. Even if they're Jewish. Torah is pretty clear about self-sacrifice and willingness and love and other stuff. So it shouldn't be any surprise that they were more Christ-like, more sacrificial than any of the other soldiers on the ship. Although we don't know how many other soldiers on the ship gave their life preserver to somebody else. What about you? We've been talking about guns and stuff lately, and the need to model Christ in a crisis. What do you do in a FEMA camp when rations are tight? What do you do when there's only enough medicine to save 20 people and there's 21 of you? Anyway, I think these are reasonable questions. We're coming into hard times. We need to decide how much we hoard to meet our own needs and how much we give away, believing that the reward is better from the Lord for sharing than from keeping. I don't know. Something to think about. God bless you all. In the name of Jesus. Amen.